Alright, so I've gone ahead and retraced the outline for my handle onto the block here, and I'm going to go ahead and use the bandsaw to trim away most of the material, or most of this excess material, but I'm actually going to stay outside of the traced in lines and leave myself an extra bit of material for making fine adjustments. Often what will happen is, as you're burning the slot or as you're drilling your pilot slot, something will get kind of tweaked a little bit and kind of get a little bit off center or whatnot, and this can kind of make the handle a little bit crooked or twisted or whatever. So it's better just to leave a little bit of extra room so that you have extra wood and extra material to remove and fine-tune the shape of everything as you start shaping the handle. So I'm just going to use the bandsaw to rough out my rough handle shape. I'll probably stay maybe about 1/8 of an inch, give or take, outside of my lines, and then we'll start rough sanding and roughing in the rest of the handle shape on the grinder. So there is my roughed out handle block. Just use the bandsaw here to remove material, since it will do so at a little bit of a quicker rate than the grinder. But from here we'll go ahead and fit this on the knife again, check the orientation of things, make a couple little layout and witness marks, and proceed with shaping the handle. Alrighty, you'll have to excuse the muffled sound. I'm actually talking with my respirator on. But I pulled off the plate and have the slack belt set up here. I've got the belt tension up pretty tight, so it's relatively rigid. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically start squaring up the handle block so that the faces are actually parallel with the axis of the blade. So I will hold the blade straight up and down and keep grinding away handle material until I get everything nice and flat on one side, and then I'll repeat the process on the other side. And then once I get that handle block again squared off so the blade isn't twisted in there, so to speak, I'll go ahead and lay out with my guard where I want to remove material and how to taper the handle and everything. Alright, I've got the handle block so that these faces here are pretty parallel to the actual axis of the knife itself. Anything that's slightly off can still be adjusted as I continue to remove material. The next thing I'm going to do is actually slide the guard on and tap it into place, put the handle up against that, and start laying out how this handle is going to taper from the tang back to the end of the handle. Alright folks, so I've done some layout lines for how the handle block will actually taper in towards the guard. You probably won't be able to see them, but I have some lines that run off this center line that I did. So I put the plating back behind the belt so I get a nice flat surface. I'm going to go ahead and grind along my layout line so I get the taper of that handle established. Okay folks, so now I've got the handle taper established. Now it's time to go ahead and start refining the profile. Alrighty, so I've gone ahead and taken my pattern and placed it back on the knife handle and traced around and got a nice outline made. So we'll take this back to the belt grinder and sand away everything outside this line and start refining the profile of the handle a little bit more. And then from there we'll actually start rounding over everything and getting a nice feel, get everything kind of roughed in and rough shaped, and we'll work on refining that shape as we go. Okay folks, here is the knife with the handle rough shaped. A little bit of a shorter handle knife, but still fits in the hand. I need to work on this guard a little bit more to allow for finger to scoot up there and hug a little bit better without catching the edge, but you know, you can still get a decent grip on it. You can go 3-fingered with it. Or you can use the ricasso and choil area to choke up on the knife for fine control. You know, again, it's designed to be a smaller knife, a shorter knife for you know, everyday carry versus my other knife here, which is much longer and skinnier. Either way, definitely feels like a decent little knife that will work quite well for its intended use. You know, which is to have a nice little knife to carry around and use when you need a knife, and B, as a representation of my work. So there's the knife so far. We'll continue refining the shape of the handle and the guard, and you know, it needs to get a little bit smaller. It's getting close to the final shape and size, but now you can see kind of how the knife is transformed from this sketch into the knife. You know, you will notice that the blade is a little bit shorter in person than what it is in the sketch. The reason is I actually decided to make the knife blade a little bit smaller than 3 inches. I believe it's actually 2 3/4 inches, just as an extra margin of safety, so that, you know, no problems could ever arise. So there is the knife again, and we'll again continue slowly shaping things and let it evolve into the finished product. One of the next steps to be done after we get the handle shape refined a little bit more is I'll actually be drilling a pinhole in the center of the handle and putting in a mosaic pin, just as a way to mechanically hold the handle to the tang, and of course additionally it will be epoxied in. So there we go. We'll keep you updated as we make progress.